Recorded Books presents Explorer Academy, The Tiger's Nest, Book 5, by Trudi Trueit. Narrated by Ramón de Ocampo. Chapter 1. Aldabra Atoll, Seychelles. Where was Orion? Seated beside Captain Rojas in the helicopter, Cruz scanned the blue swells below for a crest of white. 2 days ago, Explorer Academy's flagship had sailed from Kenya. Without him. First, a snowstorm had delayed Cruz's flight from New York, then mechanical problems with the plane had kept him grounded in Istanbul. Finally, he'd made it to Mombasa, where Orion's helicopter pilot was waiting to fly him out to the ship in the western Indian Ocean. Cruz had enjoyed semester break with his dad in Kauai. They'd worked at the Goofy Foot surf shop, ate their fill of pepperoni and sausage pizza with extra cheese, and surfed whenever they'd had a spare minute. It was like old times. Still, Cruz couldn't stop thinking about his mother's cell regeneration formula. 4 months ago, Cruz wasn't sure he'd be able to find even a single piece of the cipher, and now he was halfway to his goal. Only 4 pieces to go. He was anxious to rejoin his friends and opened the holojournal for the 5th clue. An angular silhouette appeared on the horizon. Cruz squinted against the glare of the noon sun off the ocean, his heart thumping so loudly he was sure Captain Rojas could hear it above the engine. Was that? It was. They'd found Orion. The ship, however, wasn't in motion. It had stopped a few miles west of an island. Captain Rojas nodded to the elongated triangle of land. Aldabra Atoll. The explorers had learned about Aldabra in Professor Ishikawa's class. The atoll was made up of a series of small islets that formed a reef around a lagoon. Part of the Seychelles' outer islands, Aldabra was among Earth's largest coral reefs. No wonder the ship had dropped anchor here. It was an explorer's paradise. Approaching Orion, Cruz could see the Explorer Academy flag. It flew high above the bridge, a rippling beacon to welcome him home. "Request, Helicopter Academy 1 to Orion, permission to land," said Captain Rojas. "Request granted," crackled the answer. "Orion standing by." As they hovered above the helipad, Cruz tried to see into the oval roost on the ship's weather deck. He wondered if anyone had come up to meet him. Maybe his best friend. Lani had not traveled with Cruz to visit her own family in Kauai over the break. A new recruit, with only a few weeks at the academy under her belt, she had decided to stay behind to catch up on schoolwork and complete her required survival training with Monsieur Legrand. Captain Rojas set the skids square in the middle of the giant EA on the pad so gently Cruz barely felt it. The pilot cut the engine, and the blades spun to a stop. Cruz flipped off his headset, unbuckled his seatbelt, and hopped out of the aircraft the second the captain opened his door. "Thanks for the ride." "Anytime." The pilot handed Cruz his duffel bag. Cruz had barely set foot inside the roost when a fluffy white blob came hurtling toward him. He went to his knees and opened his arms. Woof! Hubbard's pink tongue practically licked off his earlobe. Laughing, Cruz fell over on the fall leaves rug. "He's missed you." Taryn Seacliff was standing behind one of the olive-green chairs. "I've missed him too." It may have only been 2.5 weeks, but to Cruz it felt like ages. Cruz rolled to his knees. He glanced around the empty room. It was a bit weird that none of his friends had come up to meet him. He hoped nothing was wrong. "Don't worry," his advisor saw his frown. "You won't be in trouble for missing the mission." "Mission?" Cruz gulped. "Already?" That would explain why nobody was here. "The teams are exploring the reef around Aldabra in Ridley. Team Earhart went this morning. Cousteau is next." She glanced at her watch. "If you hurry, you might make it."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?